guys and gals, friends of YouTube, Love to Fly Helis here. This video is for a friend of mine that requested me to do this for him, and happy to do it. He's wanting to see my setup on a 20 or 30 cc gas airplane. This is for Ali, IBN Air. It's his channel. He's got some cool videos. Really cool guy, so y'all give him a holler and check out his channel and everything. But anyway, what I've got on this, this is a 20 cc that I have set up. This plane is actually classed as a 60 to 90 size. It's the Seagull Models brand Edge 540, and it flies extremely well with the 20 cc gas engine on it. Had to do very little modification. My basic electronics, what I have set up on this plane is I'm running Spectrum radio. I have an AR 6200 receiver with a satellite receiver down here. I have two heavy-duty switches that have the charge jack. Here's one on this side. This one on this side is for my electronics, and the one on the other side is for my ignition, and it has an LED light you can see right there. And that I like those because you can really tell, if you see it sitting there, you realize you've left your switch on. So you will need two switches and two batteries for a gas setup. The electronics in this, like I said, an AR 6200. You'll need at least a 6-channel. The way I set one up, I like to set my aileron halves on 2 separate channels, and my elevator halves, and my ailerons and my elevator halves all on, that's 4 channels right there. So anyway, what I'm running in this one is the JR DS821HV, which is high voltage. I'm running these high voltage servos throughout this plane. Now, the advantage of that is you can run a LiPo 2-cell LiPo battery on your receiver side without having to run a voltage regulator. A good voltage regulator is going to run you about $100. But if I don't know which comes out worse. These servos here are 88-ounce torque, and they are, I'm trying to think how much they were. I want to say they were about 70. No, 30. They were 30 something. Less than $40 a piece. I want to say around $30, $35 a piece. So, you might be able to get some regular servos a little cheaper and then a high voltage regulator, but I really like these. I have these JRs in a lot of my planes, and they really do well. But there's all kinds of them out there. Futabas are great servos. A lot of the high-techs I like. And most of these companies now are making these in a high voltage. So the high voltage is really cool because, like I said, you can eliminate the $100 voltage regulator that you would need on the electronics side. Now, that being said, I also have these set up. This is actually my choke servo and my throttle servo. Now, on an ignition, the electronic ignition side, you have a second battery to run that on your engine. You will still, if you run a LiPo on that, you're still going to have a voltage regulator for that. And on a larger gas plane, like a 50 cc up, things are a little different. You're getting into a lot more voltage and watts and stuff there. And I have a 50 cc plane, and I run LiPos on the electronic ignition and the servo set of electronics, but I have a voltage regulator in it. Anyway, this 20 cc, you don't have to do that. You can just get standard voltage 6-volt servos if you want. I just like these high voltage. What I'm running on batteries in this, and like I said, this is a 20 cc setup. These are Hydromax 6-volt 2000 milliamp hour nickel metal hydrate batteries. They work fine on these 20 cc, maybe even a 30 cc, but I would not recommend them on a 50 cc up. They're just not going to hold the voltage and amps it's pulling. So you're getting into a lot stronger servos and stuff. But anyway, they work fantastic on this. I can get about 5 flights out of this plane before I have to charge them. and they're still enough. You know, I could technically do another flight, but I won't chance it. So I usually do 4 and then charge it. But anyway, they hold up really well. I have these batteries in almost every plane I have. I've used them for several years now, and I have never had a problem with them. They work really well on your smaller aircraft. But like I said, do not use these in a large 50cc on up. You're going to have to get into some heavier duty batteries and probably lipos and go ahead and use your voltage regulator and stuff. You have one battery set up that goes to your ignition switch, and then this wire will go in and hook to the ignition from the engine, and you have the secondary battery hooked up to your electronic switch, which operates your receiver, your servos, and all that stuff. So two separate electric systems there that you have. Now, you know you're going to need extensions to go back to the tail. This plane, well, let me take that back. Depends on the plane you're working on. A lot of the bigger planes, the gas planes, have the servos for the tail feathers mounted in the back, which gives you a shorter linkage, and these are real heavy duty linkage. On a hot plane, like a 3D plane or something, you're going to be putting a lot of G's on, a lot of torque. This is a better setup back here in the tail end. It doesn't look scale because they're sticking out of the side of the plane and they're not hidden like they would be inside, but it actually is a better, stronger system for a heavy G pulling plane or 3G plane that you're going to be putting a lot of force on. So anyway, I don't know what you're wanting to build, Ali, but this is a very nice plane. I love it. It's one of my favorites. And it was given to me. The ARF kit was sent to me by my good friend Virgil up in Delaware, and I just absolutely love this plane. It's I'm in the process of putting a new engine on it right now. Okay, I think that should pretty well cover your electronics. Just telling you what I'm using in this. Like I said, it's pretty basic setup. Now, this plane was actually set up for glow nitro, and I did run a gas engine, and I had to do a little bit of a modification on the firewall. Let me get my pointer here, get my wiggly finger out of there. I did have to re-drill and move the blind nuts in the firewall. I don't know. I think there you can see, get my pointer down in there. You can see them down in there, and you can see the old holes where they were. But anyway, they're easy to push out, and I didn't have to modify the firewall in any way other than I reinforced it with this triangle stock all the way around the back side of it, well, the sides, everywhere. I just reinforced it all, and I reinforced up here after I did my little cutouts. I had to move my blind nuts up a little bit toward the top, so I had to cut this out. This engine mount, I will put the link to it in the video. Excuse me. It's from Horizon Hobby. It's only $10. You can actually find it on their eBay site, Horizon's eBay site, and it's free shipping. If you order it from Horizon Direct, it's you pay a little bit of shipping on it. But the mount's only $10, and it works really well. It's got a, well, you can see the slides in it where it's adjustable to move your engine in and out. But it works really well, and for $10 you can't beat it, and it'll fit most of your 20 cc's. Now you get into a 30 cc, you're not looking at a bracket like this, you're looking at standoffs, and what those are, they're tubes that stick off the firewall here, and they actually bolt to the back of the engine. So it's a little bit different when you get into a 30 cc up, but the 20 cc's, even the 22, like the OS22 GT22, will fit in this, and that's what I'm getting ready to put on this plane. Like I said, I like to set up a choke servo. A lot of guys like a manual choke that they can reach in there with a rod or something and pull it, but I like a choke servo myself. It makes it simpler, and to me, the difference in the weight, I can't tell the difference in the way the plane flies. I mean, your servo's only, what, 5, 6, 7 ounces, so to me it doesn't matter on that little bit of weight. But then you got your choke rod and your throttle rods coming out here, which I wish I had the engine on here to show you. Now, going to the fuel system. If you go gas, if you buy a plane that's set up for gasoline, it may come with the gas line and everything. Nitro fuel line and gasoline fuel line are totally different. You cannot use nitro line on this. Same goes for your fuel tank. You have to change the plug out. And what I usually get, this one, like I said, was set up for nitro. I get this Sullivan gasoline fuel tank conversion kit. Comes with a gas stopper and some fuel line and stuff that the gas won't eat it up. I also like these gasoline fuel filters from Sullivan. And there again, when you can't run a nitro filter on this, everything has to be up to par for gasoline rated. Your fuel line, you have to have fuel line that's rated for gasoline. If you put nitro stuff on this, it's going to eat it right up, and your plastic stopper in your tank will just dissolve, and you're going to have all kinds of problems. This is some of the Sullivan line that I have on here. It tends to get stiff after a while, so I don't care that much for it. You can get this gasoline line, different diameters, at usually a lot of big lawnmower shops, and it's actually cheaper than what you buy at the hobby shop. It stays real flexible. It doesn't get hard and rigid like the other, so I really like that. So that's a good place to look for your fuel line. Like I said, be sure and change out your stopper for gasoline rated stopper. Your lines on the inside to your clunk lines, your fill and carburetor line, have to have all fuel, gasoline fuel line on that. Now, this is a 2-line setup, which is a little different than most nitros. Nitros, you have a vent line that goes to your muffler. On most gas, you don't. They usually have a fuel pump on the engine itself, so you eliminate that. Now, this is my fill line coming out here, which will come outside the cowl through this little hole right here. And that goes to the pickup line also from the tank, which comes down to this T. There again, when you get this T, you have to have a gasoline rated plastic T. You can't use nitro on anything. And then this line comes up and goes to my carburetor. This here is a vent line, and what you do on a gasoline, you want to coil this vent line up above the fuel tank level. And the reason you want to do that, you want to bring the line up, you want to coil it above it, and then bring it down and drop it down to the bottom to drain excess fumes and stuff. If you don't do that, if you just run your vent line straight out here, when you fly this plane inverted, then your fuel's going to start running out. If you coil it like this, you fly it inverted, it doesn't run out, doesn't allow it to drain out. So you don't want to drain all your fuel while you're flying. So always be sure and coil this up. You can buy these little plastic fittings at Lowe's, Home Depot, hardware stores, places like that. And that makes it real nice to tack it down and everything. And I've got it running at the bottom of the cowl on this side. Your electronic ignition on a gasoline engine, you want to keep it pretty much away from the heat. This one will be running a pit style muffler. The muffler is going to be about right here. That's where it comes down. So this, my electronic ignition I have strapped under here, and it's far enough back that it's away from the muffler and it's not picking up too much heat. Plus I got a lot of air coming in there too. And then your lines from that will come up, and I don't remember how I had it clamped exactly, but I had the coil line strapped here and then plugs into your spark plug. Your other line off the ignition will come up through here, and I can't remember what hole I had it in, but it plugs into the switch harness right there. You can see the lead right in there, and I'll have to look to see how I had that run in there now, but anyway, you'll have to drill a few little holes for that. If you do get a nitro model that's set up for nitro, your gasoline engines have slightly more vibration, so reinforce your firewalls. Go in and epoxy some good triangle stock around it. I did some on the inside to make that really strong. I've never had any problem with this. I hope I'm not forgetting anything, but I think that should cover it all. Kind of recap, your fuel line system has to be rated for gasoline. So if you have a nitro plane, change all that out. Fuel line, clunk line, fuel tank stoppers. Electronics, you will need 2 switches. I like these heavy duty switches that have the charge jack built into them. They're easy to mount and put in, and I get mine from Bad Brad Graphics, and they're $8 for the regular one and $10 for the one with a LED light on it. Now these switches are like 7 amps, So they'll run fine on a 20, 30, even a 50cc probably, but once you get anything much bigger than that, you're going to have to check your amperage and get some more expensive switches, but these work great for this. Like I say, I get those from badbradgraphics.com. He's a great guy. Look up his website, give him a call. He's got tons of stuff. He has heavy-duty extensions, really cheap, and his shipping's really good. But anyway, the servos are, going to be servos of your choice. You need to look at the rating of the plane and see what it calls for on torque. I think this plane here called for 60 ounce minimum or something like that. Anyway, I'm running 88 ounce torque on these with 6-volt battery. So servos of your choice. Just make sure I like digital on the plane like this, but make sure they're heavy duty, strong enough, and at least 2 ball bearings. Metal gears even better if you want to go that route there. Of course, all this stuff's going to add up. You're going to pay a little bit more the higher up you get in the servos. And you'll need 2 batteries and some extensions and stuff. So that should pretty much cover the setup on this 20cc, I hope. And then programming in the radio. I don't know how well you are, what kind of radio you have, but like I said, I like to program my ailerons on 2 separate channels. I like to program my elevator halves on 2 separate channels if I can on a hot rod plane like this. But anyway, Ali, I hope this helped you out and told you what you wanted to know. If there's anything else I can do that you need to know, or you want some more close-ups, pictures, videos, whatever, just give me a holler and let me know. I'll be glad to try to help you out any way I can, buddy. Alright, man. You guys, thanks for watching.